So I've been teaching in polytechnics and private schools as a part-time lecturer for about 5 years now, and I also consult with certain clients on branding and marketing, and I noticed something in common that students and clients in Singapore particularly always ask me, which is something along the lines of, JJ, do like that correct or not? JJ, do like this, is it right? JJ, is this the correct way to do it? And I realized that my answer to them is often, there is no correct way to do things. And I realized that our upbringing and perhaps our education system here in Singapore has sort of shaped us into people that think that there is a correct way to do things because of how success and results are measured, usually through sitting for exams and certain things like accolades and certifications. And that causes a lot of us to think that there is a correct way to do things. Maybe in the past, doing things the correct way can get you further ahead in life, can get you a certain place. But these days, when the mass majority of people are doing things the correct way, it becomes the norm, and by doing things the correct way, it is basically impossible to stand out or get ahead, and more often than not, you actually fall behind. There is really no correct way of doing things. And then the counter argument is that why do something that has not been tried or tested when you can do something that has a proven track record? And my answer to that is that what works today might not work tomorrow. In fact, looking at how fast technology, AI, and the world is progressing, this stands even more true today. Just 1 to 2 years ago, I was making pretty good side income writing biographies for business people, musicians, artists, and comedians online. And today, just 1 to 2 years later, that pretty lucrative side income has dropped to $0 because of the invention and the prevalence of this thing known as large language models, AI, or more commonly, ChatGPT. So just doing some reflections today, there is really no correct way of doing things, and the more we get stuck in the mindset of doing things the correct way, of doing things the right way, the more we are unable to expand our mind to think of ways that is not conventionally correct but logical at the same time. And the other extreme of doing things differently is to do things based on how you feel and what you think. And what I also noticed over the years is that what we think and what we know is merely a super small fraction of what is factual. So my personal thinking and my personal approach is that we definitely should try to break out of the there is a correct way to do things type of mentality and try to go for something different but still within the realms of what is logical by combining what is quantitative, aka data that you can read, data that you can see, versus what is qualitative, what we see and what we feel. I think we can sort of find a direction or an approach to do things slightly differently from what is conventional and potentially get ahead. This means that there will be a lot of trial and error, but the more we do this, the more we learn, the more we grow, and the more we are able to break the mold. In the past, just a couple years ago, it is arguably true that if you follow the correct path, you would probably end up in a pretty decent position. But I would argue that today, considering how fast technology and the world is changing, doing what is conventional and what is traditionally correct might not be the way forward. Instead of approaching every situation, every problem as, is this the correct way to do things? Can or not maybe we could potentially approach every situation and every problem with a qualitative and quantitative approach that would work for you and the situation that you are in. Everybody is born with a different natural innate ability to be good at something and not be good at a certain thing. So what conventionally works for someone might not really work for you, especially in the world that we are in today. And I often catch myself doing this as well, to reference and look at other people doing it correctly and question myself if what I'm doing is really the right way to do things. But more and more so, I believe that finding your own way and doing things that is right and correct for you rather than what is traditionally defined as right and correct seems to be the way forward. Just a reflection that I have while marking some assignments. Let me know what you think. Do you think following the correct path, what is conventionally correct, is more important in the world we live in today, or doing things differently and by making enough mistakes and collecting enough data to find what is right for you, which is more suitable and which is more important for you in the day that we live in today? Let me know your thoughts. Peace!